What's up, viewers, subscribers, and agents alike? It's your boy, Luciferian Prince, coming to y'all once again. Assalamu alaikum to all the brothers and sisters who observe Ramadan. We only got a few days left. It is what it is. And today, as of today, is the day of the solar eclipse. Now, really not too hype on it. It is what it is. It's nothing more than just the birth of the sun, so forth and so on. It is what it is. The stars and the planets are running their course. So, may this find you in good spirits and may this find you in, you know, a positive notion, irrespective of everything that's going on out there in the world. And may you continuously endure, irrespective of anything that's going on outside of you. You know? Let's get to it. Now, if you're watching this around children, this does not constitute legal advice, first off. Let me start there. And if you're watching this around children, please remove them from your immediate vicinity. Let's just get those things out the way before they're misconstrued later on down the line. Now, the title of this video is called Status Correction, Proper Definition thereof, right? Status correction. I know a lot of people have heard about status correction, or they have touched on basis or heard somebody talk about status correction. But me, myself, I'll tell you what, status correction in and of itself is very simplistic. And I'm going to be the one to simplify it. And I'm going to also be the one to basically let you know exactly what it really is. See, when we understand two simple definitions, right? You have in Black Law Dictionary, you have what's called a permanent resident, right? And in Black's Law Dictionary, you also have what's called citizen, right? So the misnomer that is often equivocated with actually interpreting law correctly and in its proper context is that majority of authorities would like to say sovereign citizen. Say, for instance, you get pulled over and you know proper law. We're not talking about codes, rules, statutes, and procedures. We're talking about proper common law. Most cops would be like, oh, you're one of those sovereign citizen people. No, you can't be both. We already went over this. Black's Law Dictionary gives one definition of sovereign, and Black's Law Dictionary gives one definition of citizen. Black's Law Dictionary, don't care what edition, does not give a definition on sovereign citizen. You can never find it. A lot of people have to understand. Please, please, please invest in a Black's Law Dictionary because it will help you understand things in a more proper context as opposed to just a generalization of what we think is an English terminology. Law, in and of itself, root words are not English. Etymologically, they're not. Etymologically, law is okay. Let's get that straight. Law is Latinized, meaning the root word of the origin. Let's talk about the origin of the word. Sovereign is spelled differently today than it was in the 1600s. See, in the 1600s, sovereign was spelled SOVRAN, literally. Now it's spelled SOVREIGN, sovereign. So, same word, but the Germanic translation of the word sovereign has changed, but it has always been existent. Citizen did not come until the commercial construct, but was always utilized in the direct respect of Roman Empire because citizens were a part of an empire, a part of a construct. Now, from the actual 13th century where you had the, you know, quote unquote laws were changed. Laws were changed according to the Roman emperor at the time, who basically said, you know what, we're going to turn people into corporations. See what I'm saying? And the codex of the law at the time was basically turning those natural people at that time into political constructs, into subjects. Okay? So before these laws, you see what I'm saying? These codexes were tampered with, totally corrupted. They turned around and they basically said, well, you know what? Yeah. You see what I'm saying? We're going to basically turn you people into citizens. You see what I'm saying? We're going to turn you into citizens. We're going to turn you into corporations. We're going to turn you into our enterprise, which all the way up until the present has been the most effective system. It has only been inculcated into English law when the Shatar was actually introduced into English law. So here you have Talmudic law, you have etymology that coincided with the English translation, but from a Latinized standpoint. So from the Latinized standpoint, it all started with the Vatican. Okay, that's just the way it is. So the law in and of itself starts with the Vatican. So anytime I tell people, when you understand law from a certain aspect, you have to understand the etymology before we can proceed. So your status was always determined based upon the etymology rooted in the word in which they said you are. Now, just because someone says you are something doesn't mean that you are. It means that they're just presuming that you are. That's why you have to understand the Black's Law Dictionary. There's a word called presumption. Pre means before, assumption. Pre-assume assumption. Presume assumption. I'm thinking before. I'm thinking for you, basically. And this is all emperors and all rulers and all popes and all governors and everybody has always done throughout the annals of history and throughout time. Okay, so the reason why I explained it in that way, you see what I'm saying, was because we have to go to the root of this before we understand what we're trying to fix. Okay, when people ask you, are you a U.S. citizen? Instantaneously on applications, or even if they ask you verbally, majority of Americans will say yes. Not really realizing that what they're saying is subject. If you read the 14th Amendment, it says every person. Now we know that the Constitution, before I proceed, is a legal document. So we can't read it in just the normal sense of just reading it for what it is. It says, quote, every person. Now we look at the word person in Black's Law Dictionary, you can see that person has over 27 to 32 different definitions, depending on what edition you have. But a person is a fictitious construct. They're not saying natural person. If you look in Black's Law Dictionary, it lets you know what a natural person is. Now, I'm saying all these definitions in order for you to properly get what I'm saying, for you to do your own research and your own due diligence to figure it out. Every person born in the United States is a corporation. So every corporation born into a corporation is a subject thereof. Look up the word subject. Subject means underling. That means you're underneath. Okay? So when they say you're subjected to the law, or when they say you'll be subject to arrest, that is what the Roman government implemented in order to control the population of its citizens. If you ever look at a sign when you go to a store next time, or if you ever go anywhere out in public, and you ever see that sign that says, if you're loitering, you will be subject to arrest. Littering, subject to arrest. So forth, subject to arrest. They're letting you know we are going to arrest our subjects. We're going to put our subjects in bondage. Okay? But you can't be put in bondage if you're not a subject. See what I'm saying? You can't be put in bondage if you're not a subject, which is one of the reasons why most so called authority figures who have no authority, because they operate under color of law. They're pretending to be law. They are not the law. There's only one supreme law, and that's natural law. Their law is made up, it's fictitious. Okay? So follow me when I'm getting ready to go and cook with this. So basically, if it's a fictitious law and something that's fictional isn't real, why is there a real imposition? Now we're going to get down to it because it's all contractually implemented through verbiage and clever manipulative tactics. Most people don't understand law is force. Now, we're not talking about natural law because natural law just is what it is. We're talking about the constructs of governance. These things are constructed and to be implemented by force because if force wasn't used, it couldn't be effective, which is why they call it law enforcement. See what I'm saying? There has to be a use of force because something that simply just exists as a fiction has no real results unless force is activated. So whenever it comes down to these individuals who try to say that we are anti-government or whatever, there's no we. Okay? If you're sovereign, you stand by yourself. You're not with a group. See what I'm saying? You're by yourself. See what I'm saying? See, when people don't understand where there are sovereigns of this world that are publicly recognized, although they are falsely, you know what I'm saying, falsely um bolstered into society to say that this is the queen, this is the king. You see what I'm saying? Who gave them that authority? See what I'm saying? And if you go back into history, they was talking about divine right and all this shit like that. Social compact, King James, Queen Mary. They came to the people and said, we'll rule over you if you give us a set of rules. That's where the people fucked up with the Magna Carta in 1215. So people gave up their rights, and this is the social contract theory that the Constitution adopted because, to be honest with you, it all trickled down into English law. And that's what the Constitution says. We derive our powers from the consent of the governed. So we have no power until you give us permission. See what I'm saying? See, until you give us permission, there's nothing we can do to you. We can't do anything to you. Now, sovereigns stand in their capacity. I'm not giving you permission. And that's just me not complying with your fictitious way of thinking because my status is corrected as a sovereign man or sovereign woman. Simple as that. It's no super movement where we saying laws don't apply to us or we can break the law. No, we're not saying that. At least I'm not anyway. I'm saying particularly as far as my status is concerned, I am not named in your statutes or your laws in no way, shape, or form because of status. See what I'm saying? So let's go further. Status correction is basically you putting on public record who you are and who you are not. Okay? Who you are and who you are not. That's all it is. And a lot of people make it so complicated to try to make it seem like, this is so bad. It is not. This is just an educative field of letting you know that, I'm not that. I'm not that. You can't make me be something that I'm not. In other words, is all I'm saying is simplicity. So when we talk about status correction in its proper form, let's talk about Title 8, Section 11.0, right? United States Code. And a lot of people don't understand this, but I'll read it for educational purposes. Give me 1 second. I'll read it. Okay. Notice that every law or code section always starts off with definitions, which is why I always go to definitions, defining things in order so it's not so ambiguous. It's like you can get straight to the point with it. Definitions. As used in this chapter, the term administrator means official designated by the Secretary of State, pursuant to 1104, Section B of this title. 2. The term advocates includes but is not limited to advises, recommends, furthers by overt act, and admits belief in. Okay? So, let us define what I'm saying. Instead of being a citizen, instead of being quote unquote sovereign, because you already are sovereign in your capacity, just commercially you're not recognized as such. This is the proper status correction. Okay? The term lawfully admitted for permanent residence. That's what you are. You're a permanent resident. You're not a citizen. You're not an alien. You're not a person. You are a lawfully admitted permanent resident. It means the status of having been lawfully accorded the privilege. Privilege, Black's Law Dictionary, look it up. Very, very, very obscure word. Of residing permanently in the United States as an immigrant in accordance with immigration laws such as not status not having changed. So a lot of people will argue, you know what I'm saying, that this is basically something that, you know, you have to go do all these documentations and so forth and so on. Yes, you can authenticate your birth certificate. Yes, you can do all that stuff. Yes, you can. Yes, 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 yes. Not knocking it. But commercially recognizing yourself as a secured party means that basically you are making a distinguishment between who you are and to who you are not. You're telling the system, I am not this guy. I am not this lady. I'm not who you say I am. I'm me. So most of the time they'll turn around and say, oh, well, you know, aren't you such and such? See, the reason why they have to go to that defense most of the time where most law enforcement has to go that route is because they have been miseducated by quote unquote the powers that be. And not to mention they don't want to do enough research to figure out exactly what a corporation is. So when you tell them I'm not this, I'm not that, that's why I tell people if you do go to court, unfortunately we have to sometimes. It is what it is. You can't beat the inevitable. I mean, hell, even Christ went to court. What the fuck? I mean, I'm just saying. You can't beat it. Sometimes the best people do go. It is what it is. But please take a Black's Law Dictionary so they can't play around with you. See, if you have your sources instead of your words, and they can't pull one over. Black's Law Dictionary says this. This is Law Dictionary. This is not my conjecture. This is basically what the Law Dictionary says. So when you correct your status, it's basically you just going on record with the Secretary of State saying, hey, I'm the secure party in regards to any matter, and I'm not the debtor to any action taken against this person. See what I'm saying? This person. This is a person, not me, you know what I'm saying, but that person. You see what I'm saying? So when it comes down to it, you have to understand that it's all about the reality. You are never the defendant. Now, like I said, caveat, if you harm a person in their property, that's on you. That's on you. That's on you. Now, if it's something like traffic or something like misdemeanor, low grade, stuff like that can be definitely argued. Even certain charges or anything, as long as you didn't harm a person in their property, you're good to go. But a lot of people don't understand this. You see what I'm saying? So, in regards and respects to that, you have to also understand, hey, I am not a citizen. I'm a permanent resident. That's it. You don't have to say sovereign. Sovereign confuses people sometimes because they often equivocate it with the word citizen. You know what I'm saying? So that's a fundamental fact. But it's the truth, and the truth nonetheless. The truth, but the truth nonetheless. So a lot of people need to understand the complexities of what law is and how simplistic it can really be when you define it by its proper terminology, and that's in less than 20 minutes. You know, over the past few videos, YouTube has been shadow banning me for whatever reason, all intents and purposes. I don't know. My content isn't inappropriate. Yeah, I do use foul language sometimes, but it's not for children. But we all know why. I mean, come on now, we can't be aloof to it now. Like let's be real. You know, in respects to it though, I'm really not disheartened about it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like I know I'm doing the right thing by educating people. That's why I tell people if you want to book a consultation for more information that I can't put on here, You know what I'm saying? Not that I can't, it's just that I won't. Then we could do it one on one privately. You see what I'm saying? I leave my email in every video. Sometimes y'all might not get notifications to my upload. Sometimes you may not. It is what it is. But overall, my job here is to just educate. I'm not sitting here trying to advocate any type of movement, any type of association with anything, and none of that stuff. I am not here for any of that. I'm just here to teach. So if people would like to book consultations or you want services or even materials to get you on your own path, email me. It is what it is. But I just wanted to nip that in the bud about status correction because it's very important for people to know simplistically. Now you can go listen to other people who will go on for hours and hours and not tell you anything. Me, I'm not going to do that. So, with that being said, hopefully that made a lot of sense to people who have been studying. And to those who are new to this, understand that you must study before you can implement this stuff because if you don't know what you're doing, you can get yourself caught up, get yourself put in the bad spotlight, and next thing you know, they won't take you serious whatsoever. It is what it is, people. All right. So, like I said, for people who want more information on anything like that, private side of things, email me, luciferianlight7 at gmail.com. Like I always tell people in most of my videos recently, as of the beginning of this year, I tell people if you would like to donate to the channel for the content and the creation thereof, I do this out the kindness of my own heart and basically take the time out of my day to do this. Nobody's paying me to do this. YouTube has audited my channel last year. They demonetized me. Um, and yeah, basically, if you want more content, I'm going to keep giving it, irrespective of whether you wish to donate or not. I'll leave my information in the comment section in regards to that. But people, education is fundamentally important. But I will also tell people freedom isn't free. Now, that's just the reality of it. It is what it is. That's just the truth. But hopefully that shed some light on status correction. Stay tuned for more content. And yeah, hopefully y'all enjoy yourselves. Y'all have a great day and stay enlightened. Be at peace. Do what you will. Agents, fuck you. But it is what it is, people. You know what I'm saying? Stay tuned. More content. Peace. Light. Love. Take care. See y'all soon. Just stop. Now my mouse went act retarded. My bad, people. I was trying to sign off and I had my mouse plugged in. Y'all take care.